Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today it's time for another ArtsyTrio collaboration with Gina Ahrens and Bea Grob. So this month it's Bea's turn to set the mood board for well, going into November. So let me turn over to my overhead camera and I'll show you the mood board that Bea's curated for this month, and then I'll explain what I'm going to be doing for my project. So this is mood board number 14 as set by Bea. So as you can see, the colour combinations in the photos this month are all very much sumptuous, kind of beautiful ruby reds, and we've got some beautiful kind of neutral colours, especially this one in the background there. So some nice like brown tones, lots of things to play with. And this beautiful photograph here, this lady in the red gown with that gorgeous kind of muted toned neutral, but with those pops of red. And that's what my project is going to be kind of based on today. So I'm going to be pulling out lots of those red colours with a little bit of sumptuous kind of luster with some accents of gold, but also a few little browns thrown in there as well. So this is my 12 by 12 art journal. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I might just have to refocus maybe just a little bit. So I'm going to be building my journal page on this this page today. So let me just pull in a sheet of paper that I'm going to just use in the background just so I can focus properly. Let me just make sure I've got the correct focus on there. There we go, that's better. Right, so this is a couple of sheets that I'm going to be using from one of the Tim Holtz paper packs. Can't remember whether this is, it says Druggist, so it must be the Halloween one. So I'm going to lay down some paper in my background to start off with, just to kind of create a bit of a paper cluster. So that's what we're going to have pretty much in the background. Then I'm going to build upon that, but I want to add those down first and then put some colours, bit of gesso, and do some stenciling first of all. So I need to get those kind of glued down first, but just because I can, I want to just distress and decal those edges just to get rid of those kind of straight lines first of all. So let me just grab my decal edge paper tearers, which I've really been enjoying using these recently. So we'll just grab that and then just gently pull upwards, pull towards. And we get a lovely kind of like decal edge. So just pull the corner. So easy to do. That one's already torn anyway, so there's no need to do that one. Just grab the edge, grab the corner, and then just pull towards. If you wanted just to soften this with water a little bit first of all, you could do. This is thicker paper from the paper pad. What's on that side? Yeah, don't really want that. I'm going to leave the dictionary page as it is, but I do want to just quickly strip these pages just a little bit. All right, so this one is tearing a little bit easier. This feels a little bit thinner, so this must be from this year's pad, whereas that one must be from last year's pad. Because the paper is definitely a bit thinner. I cut my nails yesterday, so I'm wishing I hadn't now. But once you actually get going, it's fairly straightforward. There we go. Okay, so that's the outer. So I'm gonna leave that inner one as it is, because that's pretty much going to be covered up anyway. And then we'll bring these, probably, we did say like that, didn't we, about there? So try and do it kind of into the middle. Right, I've got some spirit glue. I did manage to get some more last time I went shopping. And I'm not particularly bothered about the edges curling up, being stuck down. It just adds a little bit of texture. There we go. So we'll get that stuck down first. It's the biggest layer, so I'll try and get that centered, top and bottom, but I do have a little bit of wiggle room. And then this one. Like so, leave that little bit of a step down there, which is nice. And then take this and bring that so it's overlapping there, and then you create that kind of little step in that corner. And with this being spirit-based glue, it shouldn't wrinkle the paper like water-based ones do. Okay. Bit of a step there. Lovely. Okay, so that's going to be my kind of base layer. I'll just pop that glue to one side for now. It's not going to be the last time we use it, because I will be using glue again in a little while. So what I want to do now is just grab some white gesso. Just give it a bit of a mix. And then paintbrush. A little bit of water. Just water it down a little bit. And then I'm just going to just kind of knock back some of that colour. Just kind of whitewash over the top. It just helps to diffuse and blend. There we go. Do a little bit just on the dictionary, although it's light enough really, it doesn't need a huge amount. And like I said, a lot of this will just disappear into the background once we get our upper layers on. Okay, that's perfect. Yep, happy with that. Just clean the brush off. Put the lid back on my paint. Just give that a quick blast. The background's now dry, or dry enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some of that neutral colour kind of into that background now. To do that, I've got some translucent acrylic paint. This is indigo blue translucent acrylic paint, and this is called Leather Corset, and it's a little bit of a brown colour. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of water and just, there we go. It's almost kind of like a sepia tone. You don't need a lot of this at all. Just add water to it and you get this beautiful kind of wash. And because it's a translucent paint, you can still see what's underneath. And again, the theme is that beautiful kind of brown neutral, but with the gold, not with the gold, with the that kind of like ruby red. So this leather corset colour has some beautiful kind of red undertones. So it's a beautiful brown colour, like I said, with a real nice kind of mahogany kind of feel to it. And with it being translucent, you still can see the writing underneath. We have a visitor. Hello.
Hello. Ooh. Is this Lena's page?
Yeah, I've not explained who I'm going to be doing just yet.
Sorry.
So it's okay. Yes, but yes, it is Lena's page. Okay, so that's going to be...
I'm going out.
You're going out?
I'm going to the shop. I need to pick some stuff up.
Okay, I'll see you in a little while when you come back.
Bye all.
Okay, so I've just knocked the water now, look. Typical. Right. Quickly get that dried off. Okay, so the other colour that I want to introduce now is some more kind of red tones into that background. So for that, I've got another translucent paint. This one's called Rosetti Red. So this is one of those beautiful kind of Baroque sort of Renaissance colours that you see if you've ever seen any kind of like Italianate paintings. It's got this beautiful kind of colour in there. Absolutely beautiful colour. So I'm going to add some of those. It's almost like a crimson. Some of those kind of touches just into the background. But again, I'm only using a tiny, tiny kind of amount of water. With them being translucent, they're extremely soluble, if you like. You can water them down quite beautifully to create these lovely kind of washes. And the effect that I want to try and get is kind of very sort of loose and painterly, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we've got those kind of like reddish highlights from that Rosetti Red. So I'll grab my cloth, just give that a quick wipe, then I can just quickly rinse my brush off. So now we've got those down, I can come back with that gesso and just take a teeny tiny amount, water it down, and then I can go back. Don't want that, do we? And just add some streaks. Again, it just helps just to diffuse and tone down, so you've not got anything which is too in your face. Okay, don't need a huge amount of that, just a tiny, tiny amount. So again, just now want to dry that off. All right, so the next step, I didn't clean that little section there, did I? Here we go. I'm going to bring in a stencil. So this is my damaged damask stencil. Currently it's out of stock, but I am hoping to get some more back in next time I do some stencil ordering. So, and I've got some flitter glue. So this glue is almost like a, that's probably a new pot. Has it still got the, no, that seems okay. Just probably wasn't squeezing hard enough. It's almost like a gilding glaze. It says that. Why is it not coming out? Bear with me a sec. Okay, problem solved. I had still have the cap underneath. As I was saying, so this is not a gilding glaze, a gilding size is what I meant to say. Right, so I'm going to grab some and work it into my sponge here, and then I'm going to dab it through the stencil. Now the thing when using a glue or a size like this is that if you are going to use it through a stencil like I'm doing, you have to remember to wash your stencil pretty much immediately afterwards, because otherwise it'll dry on the stencil and it'll stay tacky for absolutely months and months and months, or it never really dries, if you know what I mean. All right, I should add a little bit more over here. I'm not being exact, I'm just dabbing and dabbing, and then I'll do a tiny bit down here. Okay, so I'm now going to leave that for a few minutes to kind of just go a little, just tiny tacky, so it's almost dry but not quite dry, so it will still be tacky. That'll give me a chance to wash my stencil thoroughly, so I'll be back in 2 shakes. Okay, so that size has pretty much kind of got to the consistency that I want it to now. So I'm now going to use a material I don't often use. So this is called Glorious. It's an ultra thick embossing enamel. And this one has chunks of kind of gold in there as well as red. So I'm just going to sprinkle this all over the page. And I'm hopefully getting all the areas that has the size on it. And then I'm going to just gently kind of tap it back off again. There we go. So where it's stuck to the glue, to that size, that's going to hold it in place. I can now just carefully dip it all back into the pot. Kind of ready to do that magic again another day. So with this being embossing enamel, it's a bit thicker than ordinary embossing powder, but does exactly the same thing. Okay, so now when I hold it up to the light, all that shine that you can see here, that's the gold flakes inside that embossing enamel. So that's going to be held in place. So happy with the way that's turned out. Right, so next I'm going to add my main focal point, now Ian said this is Lena's page, so yes, it was quite correct there. My main focal point is going to be this beautiful lady here. So you may know who this lady is. You might not know her name, but you'll know who she is. This is Lena Cavalieri, born in 1874. She was an Italian opera singer, but her face was everywhere, and you've probably seen vintage photos of women, and her face will have popped up because she was very well photographed. And also, if you've seen the indigo blue stamp Jane, you'll know who she is. That's the lady behind the photograph. This obviously was meant to be sort of Austen-esque, but her real name is Lena Cavalieri. I mean, look at the eyes. You can just see, can't you? Those eyes. It's definitely her. So, yeah. One of my most favourite stamps ever from indigo blue is the Lena stamp, or the Jane stamp. Right, vintage photo. Let's add a little bit of brown just round the edges, just to kind of sepia tone. So this photograph was originally black and white. I've come in and done some hand tinting, well, I say hand tinting, digital tinting before I printed it. So beautiful there. Okay, so she's going to go there, but obviously I'm not just going to stick her down as she is. I want to add some collage items around her as well. So I've gone through my Tim Holtz ephemera collections, particularly dipped into my botanical section, and I've pulled out some of the flowers and roses, obviously because this is kind of that red and neutrally kind of feel that we want from it. And I thought, well, these are just absolutely beautiful. So these can go on the page just to frame her out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'll grab my glue again. And I'm using the spirit glue because now we've got an uneven surface. Right. Yeah, I did print it previously and it was too light, so I had to darken it a little bit. Rather than waste the paper or the card, I just turned it over and printed on the back. Okay. Turn that around. And Lena can go just there, like so. Lovely. And now I can start to layer in my collage items over the top. Okay. So we said about there, didn't we? About there. Just taking that corner. Love that. Okay, so the next one we're going to add is going to be this card just in that corner there, but I want to tuck these kind of flowers just underneath, just like that. So more glue. Just flip that over and then card just coming in that corner there, so I just literally just want that sticking out over the top. Like so. So that'll do for that. And then we'll throw some glue on there. Just in that corner there. And then I've got just this image of a birdie. It's die cutting on, it's not exactly wonderful, so I'm just going to quickly go around it again. Just real quick. I'm not really going to try and take too much off around the legs. Just trying to remove as much of that kind of like cream colour as I can without damaging it too much. That'll do. So I just want to add a little bit of glue just onto that bird, mainly because she was an opera singer. Just kind of that nod to like the songbird kind of aspect. We'll just have that sat just there like that. I know it's a robin, but or looks like a robin, but artistic license and all that. Okay, so I don't think we're going to use those other 3 bits. So the other thing that I want to do is just to introduce some kind of random writing. So I've got some rub-ons. I think actually these are probably not all that good because they tend to stick. Yeah. Looks like I put it down on the wrong side of the sheet. Right, so let's just grab a little bit just down here. Just use one of Dina's silicone tools and see if we can persuade some of these to come off. Yeah, sticky glue everywhere. Not particularly brilliant. Let's try up here. And then, there we go. Yeah, just use my nail. It's probably going to be easier. So where were we? That done. Little bits down there. Obviously something quite sticky down there, isn't there? And then we've got maybe a little bit over here. Just pull off. Down there. Just a few bits. Maybe if I can just bring that ridge up there actually onto the photograph. Hopefully nothing's stuck to her face. There we go. Bit of an alternative to stamping really, isn't it? Maybe just that couple there. Yeah, it's not stuck, which is a bit rubbish. Right, so all those have been wasted because they've pulled right off, so they can go back into the bin now. But I kind of like the fact that you have got those little bits there. Okay, so the last thing that I want to do is I want to just include some other chit-chat words. So we've got the word something. So I'll just add a little bit of distress around the bottom. And then I think we'll add our quotes just down here. And then from this sheet, we've got the word beautiful. So we've got something beautiful. And I'm kind of happy with that. I think it looks really nice, but obviously it wouldn't be an art journal page done by me if I didn't do some splatters. I know. So let's just get some white again. I can in fact remember what I did with my gesso. Oh, it's there. There we go. So I just want a little bit of the white gesso. This is a new fan brush. It's probably a bit bigger than one that I would have normally gone for, but it was in a pack, so that's okay. And then just to lift it a little bit. It's almost like there's stars in the background, isn't there? There we go. That will do. It was a different pot of gesso, that's why. It wasn't quite the same. It was a little bit drier, obviously an older pot of gesso. Okay, so let's get this dried off. And I think that's it. That's exactly what I kind of had in my mind when I started doing this art journal page. Very happy with that. Of course, I'm now covered in glitter. But as you can see, there's just that beautiful kind of bit of sparkle just on the page. Just gives it a little bit of a different edge to it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so what I always do is I always stick the mood board onto the back of the page just so that I know later months what the inspiration for the page was. And of course, I will sign and date the page in just a second. So you'll be seeing this from Wednesday, but it's actually Monday today. So I'm actually getting this filmed ahead of schedule. Okay, so the trick is to do it so that I can read it when I just lift the page up. So it gets stuck on just like that, just in the middle of the page. Perfect. There we go. So I think I'm going to sign it over this side where there's a little bit of space. And what's today's date? I always get this wrong. It is 24th today. There we go. So there's my art journal page based on the mood board curated by Bea for the ArtsyTrio Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description area below. I'll also put links to Gina's project and Bea's project over on YouTube so that you can hop across and see what they've done based on the same mood board too. So that's it from me for today. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up because it really does help. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of this video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.